Ruben Amorim takes decision with Yoro at Manchester United. Yoro is fully fit and gearing up for his Man United debut under new head coach Ruben Amorim this month. Yoro was withdrawn from the Manchester United under-21 squad against Altrincham on Tuesday night. Yoro, who is now involved in team training after recovering from a metatarsal fracture, was informed on Monday he was due to start at Altrincham in the 4-0 National League Cup victory. He was removed from the squad after training under new head coach Ruben Amorim. Amorim presided over his first training session at Carrington on Monday, and centre-back Yoro started on the right of United's back three, with Johnny Evans in the middle and Luke Shaw on the left. Yoro is expected to have a key role in Amorim's new setup as United transition to a 3-4-3 formation, and the 19-year-old could make his debut away at Ipswich Town on Sunday. The former Lille defender was United's costliest summer signing in a deal rising to £58.91 million. But Yoro fractured the metatarsal bone in his left foot during his second start in the pre-season friendly with Arsenal in Los Angeles on July 26th. United could be without centre-halves Harry Maguire and Lisandro Martinez at Portman Road. Maguire has been sidelined for 7 weeks with a calf injury he sustained in the first half of the goalless draw with Aston Villa on October 6th, and he was not involved in the team training session filmed on Monday. Martinez withdrew from the Argentina squad with a back injury, having received medical treatment from United physio Jordan Rees during their last fixture against Leicester City. United fullback Tyrell Malaysia made his first appearance for the club since May 2023 for the under-21s in their EFL Trophy defeat at Huddersfield Town last week. Malaysia has been participating in team training for upwards of a month now. Shaw, who last played for United on February 18th, is back in full training and has excelled at centre-half in a duo and a trio. Ruben Amorim already has new nickname from Man United stars. As first impression clear, Ruben Amorim has often been compared to Jose Mourinho during his rise to becoming Manchester United head coach, touching down with a glowing reference from the Special One himself. Ruben Amorim has quickly made an impression at Manchester United, earning the moniker Mourinho 2.0 from players in just 10 days. Taking the reins on November 11th, Amorim wasted no time in shaping the team to his vision, informing Ruud van Nistelrooy that his services were no longer required. The 39-year-old, accompanied by his coaching team from Sporting Lisbon, is instilling his philosophy and a 3-4-3 formation ahead of his first game, in charge against Ipswich on Sunday. Work permit delays meant he only started hands-on training on Monday, with academy players filling in for absent first-teamers amid the international break. However, his methods are already resonating, as a source revealed to The Sun. Even before Monday's first session, the players have been very impressed. Then, after the sessions, they are blown away by his energy, approach, and confidence. The source added, "There's definite Jose Mourinho vibes in the way he speaks and his self-belief, but the style is his own. The players think he's very approachable and that he will understand them. Some of them are calling him Mourinho 2.0. Amorim, whose achievements at Sporting have placed him among Europe's top young managerial talents, acknowledges similarities with Jose Mourinho, who made his English football debut at 41 taking the reins at Chelsea after a successful time at Porto. Like Mourinho, Amorim has clinched 2 league titles and has been celebrated for his tactical nous, as per reports from the Mirror. However, he has often deflected the Mourinho comparison to his assistant, saying, "My number 2 is Carlos Fernandes. He's been my right-hand man right from day one. He'll be a much better coach than me. I often say if I become Bobby Robson, then he'll be my Jose Mourinho." In other news, Bruno Fernandes teases Kobbie Mainoo with 5-word message after Manchester United return. Bruno Fernandes has sent a cheeky message to Kobbie Mainoo, having trained under Ruben Amorim for the first time in the build-up to facing Ipswich Town this week. Bruno Fernandes has sent a cheeky training ground message to Kobbie Mainoo as his fellow midfielder continues to work his way back up to match fitness upon his welcome return from injury. The midfielder has not played in more than 6 weeks due to a muscle issue sustained against Aston Villa and has missed Manchester United's last 8 games as a result. He was consequently not called up by England this month. However, there are hopes he can make his comeback against Ipswich Town on Sunday afternoon, in what is Ruben Amorim's first match as head coach. Mainu completed Amorim's first training session on Monday, in which he was seen having a private chat with the new head coach. It's unclear how involved he will be this weekend, considering his recent return from injury. Amorim is expected to employ his 3-4-3 formation that brought him success at Sporting CP, which means only 2 central midfield spots will be up for grabs. Manuel Ugarte played in Amorim's system during his time in Lisbon, but only has a few days to prepare for Ipswich once landed back in England from Uruguay duty. Fellow pivot Casemiro has been at Carrington all week after being snubbed by Brazil, once again. He and many others were seen smiling during their first session under Amorim this week. Captain Fernandes was allowed to travel back from Portugal early after his country earned top spot in their Nations League group, and he has since partaken in United training sessions. The 30-year-old took to social media after being on the winning side in a game during training. He shared a photo of his teammates while sending a cheeky message to Mainu, who appeared to be in the losing group. Fernandes wrote, "Winning team, bicep emoji. Try again next time, Kabi Mainu." Mainu's participation in the game indicates he's progressing with his fitness and could feature against Ipswich Gary
if
Neville
deemed ready
dubs
enough.
Marcus Rashford unprofessional as he rips into Man United star's glitzy US trip to watch basketball with pal from Belfast Tequila Bender, and takes aim at jet-setter Casemiro too. Gary Neville has questioned the professionalism of both Marcus Rashford and Casemiro after the Manchester United pair jetted to the United States during the international break. Rashford, who once again was not selected by Lee Carsley for England's final Nations League matches last week, enjoyed his Three Lions exile by travelling stateside to watch an NBA game between New York Knicks and Brooklyn Nets at Madison Square Garden last Friday. Before taking to his courtside seats, Rashford was greeted by a host of NBA players including Knicks point guard Jalen Brunson and many stars of the entertainment world such as Spike Lee and Ben Stiller. The Manchester United forward, who wore a black t-shirt, black leather trousers and a white Louis Vuitton coat, also caught the eye with glitzy new set of grills to accompany his fashionable outfit. Meanwhile, Casemiro travelled to Orlando over the international break and posted photos of him and his family at Disney World on Instagram. The Brazilian midfielder posted to Instagram, "Awesome few days in Orlando with family and friends. We'll be back soon. Thank you, Orlando, US." But Red Devils legend Neville said he was disappointed with the pair for jetting across the Atlantic during Ruben Amorim's first fortnight as Man United boss, as he also questioned their professionalism and suggested they would suffer from jet lag upon their return. The professionalism, looking after your body and making sure you're best prepared for the next training session is critical to every decision you make during the season, Neville said on the Stick to Football podcast, brought to you by Sky Bet. He has got a mental break, he's got to get away and has got to rest with friends. Then you talk about the choice of venue, how far do you fly, what's the time difference, is that going to give a jet lag issue? Is that going to give a stiffness issue from being on a flight for 12 hours? This is on Casemiro more than Rashford, but if I'm 30 years old and I'm looking after my body, and he's won 5 Champions Leagues and is an unbelievable player, but if he was away with Brazil for 10 days, we would say he would struggle this weekend because he's been away. They have chosen that international break. If you are talking about the minor details in being as professional as you can be and as prepared you can be for a training session on a Monday night, that isn't the best choice of venue. Rashford was joined by his friend Roshan Williams, who came through the United ranks with the 27-year-old and now plays for Northern Irish side Larne. The Red Devils forward had previously travelled to Belfast to meet Williams in January, after his former teammate had signed for his new club. The trip ultimately led to Rashford being disciplined by recently sacked Man United boss Erik ten Hag after the forward had called in sick following an all-day drinking session in Belfast the previous day. Neville added, "I'm not that wound up about Rashford and Casemiro going over to the United States, but what I'm asking is, if you've got a 4-day break, Portland is a 12-hour flight and an 8-hour time difference, your jet lag is bad and you feel a bit rough." They went to Portland. And I'm asking the question based on professionalism. You're playing badly, the team are losing, you're 13th in the league, and there is a new manager coming in. Would you choose that trip as a break to recharge your batteries? That's not a recharging trip. It's not right that. Ian Wright disagreed with his podcast co-host, however, and said he had no problem with Rashford and Casemiro heading to the US during their time off. When asked whether he would travel to the USA during an international break, Wright said, "If it's my time off, then yes, I'd do it, simply because it's my time off. If you're going for 3 or 4 days, that jet lag won't cause you too much of a problem." Amorim, who officially took charge at Old Trafford last week, will want to get off to a fast start at the club against Ipswich on Sunday, especially given Ruud van Nistelrooy went undefeated during his interim spell at the helm. United had slipped to 14th in the Premier League prior to Ten Hag's departure and have climbed up 1 place since ahead of Sunday's trip to Portman Road. Although Rashford and Casemiro are 2 of Manchester United's most experienced players, there is no guarantee Amorim selects the pair in his strongest X. Rashford, who has netted 140 goals for the club since coming through Old Trafford's youth ranks, has endured a sharp decline in form over the past 2 seasons, scoring just 7 Premier League goals last season and once so far this term. His poor goal-scoring form saw Rashford dropped from Gareth Southgate's Euro 2024 squad, despite being an England mainstay for several years, and he has since struggled to break back into the fold under Carsley. Casemiro has been the subject of criticism over the same time frame, struggling to win plaudits since his promising first season at Old Trafford. Last campaign, the Brazilian, who left Real Madrid as a serial winner when he joined United in 2022, was heavily criticised by Jamie Carragher as Liverpool legend claimed football had left him. Suggesting he could no longer perform at the top level, Carragher said of Casemiro on Sky Sports, "Leave the football before the football leaves you." This season, Casemiro has started 7 of 11 Premier League games so far and scored once, which came in Manchester United's 2-1 defeat by West Ham, Ten Hag's final match in charge. Neville doubled on his view of the United duo travelling to the United States on the It's Called Soccer podcast. He said, "It comes with the territory when you're this sort of player and stature. I've got very little sympathy for players who are the stars who are on huge money, huge commercial contracts. They want that attention. They need it as that's what fuels them and makes them the great players what they are, and that's what gives them that adrenaline rush. They're going to get more attention, so I've got no problem with that and the attention he gets. I've got no problem with him going away in the international break, and I've got no problem with the clothes that he wears. He can wear whatever he wants. The only thing I would say, and I'm saying this very calmly, as I don't want a Neville hammers Rashford, to be honest with you, as I'm not hammering him. It's been a very difficult period for the club, and it's been a very difficult period for Marcus Rashford," he continued. "There was a player I used to play with that used to say, when times were tough, that basically you go down to that extra level of detail in making sure everything's perfect, you take the butter off your toast, you literally make sure you're absolutely looking at every single 1% of detail you could. Meanwhile,